The following program is a presentation of Jez Sports.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Main Event Podcast. Today we are going to be covering AEW Full Gear. My name's Dan. That's Jeremy having a sip of drink. How are you doing, Jez?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's Thanksgiving week for all those that celebrate, which is basically, as far as I'm concerned, as a British man, an excuse to eat lots of food and get the family together and watch some football and generally mooch off. So suits me down to the ground. How's your week going?
Yeah, it's been good. Getting cold now, though.
Yeah, it was funny yesterday when I went to pick my daughter up from school. It wasn't too bad. It was warm. It was like double figures, like 10 degrees or so. But then today, there's like a cold, bitter wind that just rips through you like, something that rips through you. I haven't got a good example.
Don't know.
Like a steel chair or like a gust of wind on John Moxley's forehead. There you go. That's a good one.
There you go.
And it's very accurate, and it will come up to date, I'm sure. Yes, indeed, we are here to discuss AEW Full Gear of the year 2023, the year in which we are currently living. Especially if you're watching live. If you come back in a few years, then it's not that year anymore, but it was at the time. You understand
in the future? How
the passage of time works. And that is a long roundabout way to say that this episode of the Main Event Podcast is sponsored by Goat Drinks. Get yourself a case of their all-natural energy drink in original mango, which is what I'm drinking here this evening.
Sporting there.
Or in truly sexual, I cannot express how amazing it is, cherry flavour at goatdrinks.co.uk. Enter the code JEZ10 at checkout for 10% off and free shipping. Because who wants to pay shipping on cans? They're bloody heavy. Yeah. And that would cost you a lot, probably. Yeah. So you have some goat on the way to try.
They're coming.
We tried it with the Effing Racing Show crew yesterday, and Reese got all excited and put vodka in his. And he prefers the mango, actually. Thinks the mango goes better with vodka. So
there you go.
We can let everybody else formulate their own opinions. But I definitely prefer the cherry. But I'm on the mango.
He's on the mango.
So. A flippant remark that you made during our chat on the weekend made me laugh. This event was only 11 matches, which is tame for AEW, you said.
It's really tame.
And I'm like, that's funny. And he's not wrong. Like, that's a good number less than I think we had for Wrestle Dream. I think there was 14 for Wrestle Dream in total.
Like that,
Too
many.
0 hour was still an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys,
why?
0 hour. You've got it in the bloody name. What is wrong with you? And you didn't even have a match on it. It was like you played the countdown thing that they put after Rampage again. Like, just leave it and just do an hour, or just don't. Yeah. That works too. Your shows are already long enough. I didn't stay up for the press conference this time. I haven't even watched the press conference yet, but I looked at the runtime of it afterwards, and it was over 2 hours. I'm like, that was a big nope from me. I wasn't going to be up until 7 a.m. again, and I just knew it would be nonsense because they were on the West Coast, and so it's a little bit earlier where they are. And Tony Khan has got absolutely no consideration for anybody in the rest of the world. So
no.
Yeah, I will watch the press conference eventually, but I'm in no rush, frankly.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we get into the predictions first of all? I could have done a really neat segue to say that we're on the road to determining our GOAT of the podcast, the person who is the greatest of all time at predictions, but I didn't. Just imagine I did. So far, this quarter.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm going for? This quarter, the score is Jez 99, Dan 103.
Woo.
We've got Full Gear And then it's Survivor Series this Saturday, and that is the
War
end of
Games.
this quarter. So who knows whether I'll be able to come back or not. All signs point to probably not, but you never know. You see what happens.
We'll see.
And we predicted this event in full. It was a bit touch and go because we forgot the event was on Saturday, but we did get in there in the final hour, the 0 hour, if you will.
The 0 hour.
And that's where we'll start. Opening match, Eddie Kingston versus Jay Lethal, with Jeff Jarrett, Karen Jarrett, Satnam Singh, Sanjay Dutt, and the Kitchen Sink for the Ring of Honor World Championship. The good and the bad and the ugly of this match, Dan.
I don't really have much to say about this match.
It was slightly disappointing, really, considering they have been building this idea of this match for a very long time, and then it was on the pre-show. That doesn't mean that I would have liked to see it held out until what's their last one? Is it Death Before Dishonor? No, it's the other one. Final something. Ring of Honor names are so crap. I can't remember them. I'll look it up. But yeah, that one. I'm glad that this wasn't the main event of that show because it would have been thoroughly disappointing.
Yeah.
I haven't caught up with Ring of Honor for this week yet, so I don't know what they are aiming towards for that show. That's not that far away. It's the first weekend of December, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, have you got anything positive, negative?
Not really. It was just there. It's just there.
I do have a couple of goods, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it's a Mormon couple of goods. I've got 3.
Okay.
Eddie Kingston refusing to go out of the ring while all the goons were out there. I thought that was just, a good move. You would have expected Eddie Kingston to play the fake hard man in that situation and go out and give it large with Satnam Singh and tell Karen Jarrett what to do, but he didn't, and I thought that was good. I liked Jay Lethal controlling the majority of the match.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because of the goons at first. They came into play later, but it was just Jay Lethal controlling Eddie Kingston for the majority, and I liked that. I liked seeing Sanjay Dutt get smashed over the head with a guitar because it's Sanjay Dutt, and maybe that's all that should happen to Sanjay Dutt is him getting smashed over the head with things.
Yeah.
My major bad was Stokely Hathaway.
Yeah.
I still don't understand the hype of this guy. People made a massive deal when he signed with NXT, and I was like, okay, well, let's see what this guy can do. What can he offer? And the answer was generic manager.
Yeah,
and not even a good one, really.
No.
He just plays an angry little man who gets what's coming to him, and they're 2 to a penny. So I don't really understand the hype of Stokely Hathaway, and I found him particularly annoying on commentary during this match. So in that case, if you have no further thoughts, we both went for Eddie Kingston for the win,
surprise.
That means that we start this show as the ones, one apiece. Next, Claudio Castagnoli versus Buddy Matthews. This was a generally decent match.
Yeah.
It's a match that I, was very excited to see. And it came off the back of, who was it that Claudio faced on Dynamite earlier in the week? Which was another dream match. Or was it Buddy Matthews? No, Buddy Matthews faced Wheeler Yuta. That was it. I'm like, oof, this should be good. And it was good, but it wasn't spectacular. And it could have been spectacular, I think, if they'd have given it more time on a pay-per-view. Likewise, this. I don't think putting it on the pre-show does a lot of justice to this. To 2 of the best in-ring, certainly the strongest pound-for-pound in-ring technicians that's in the wrestling business at the moment. But I did like the very physical starts. I thought the kind of delayed jackhammer that Buddy Matthews did was beautiful. It was like a cherry goat drink. And I didn't have anything bad or ugly to say about this one.
No, I don't really. I like how it started where Buddy threw the jacket at Claudio to start it off. I thought that's a good little heel tactic, and then it was just a hard-hitting match, really, which I enjoyed.
Yeah. It would be nice to see this again, but it mean something for a championship or a culmination of a bigger rivalry. I know that you've got the House of Black and the Blackpool Combat Club feuding-ish, kind of, not really.
Yeah, sort of.
So yeah, I would like to see something a bit more from it. But predictions, we both went for Claudio Castagnoli in case there was any doubt, which means that we are no longer the ones. We are very thankful on this Thanksgiving week. I thank you. Next up, then, the main event of the 0 hour and a half. MJF and Samoa Joe versus the Guns for the ROH World Tag Team Championship. Over to you, sir.
I liked Joe throughout the whole of this. The way he was acting just made me chuckle.
Yeah. I think Samoa Joe...
make sure we win no matter what.
He's come into his own... Really, it was a bit of a slow start for him in AEW and Ring of Honor in general. For the most of his TV title reign, he had become a little bland. And I think the turning point, strangely enough, and I know that some people will be like, ooh, about it, but his feud with CM Punk leading into Wembley, I think that was the turning point. It gave him an edge again. Instead of just, generic squash guy, it actually made him a credible threat. And now MJF is genuinely scared of Samoa Joe and the prospect of defending that title. So yeah, good. Yeah. Anyway, I interrupted you. Carry on.
I liked how Joe saved MJF when he was getting flung into the corner. Joe just came under it.
Yeah. I called that the meat shield.
The meat shield. Yeah, that's a good one. I liked how MJF was trying to be like, I am better than you, Joe. And he, especially when it came to like trying to do the muscle buster, he came to it and then it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I have threatening to do the muscle buster. I liked that he was going to do it, but he didn't.
I liked how they were going to do the double muscle buster, but then it didn't happen. I would have liked to see them both do it. It would be quite funny. And then Adam Cole distraction coming down, helping them out. Why not? And then I liked what happened after the bell, which was the Guns attacking MJF. Just going for it.
Yeah. The only good I have in addition to what you said is Samoa Joe being super over in California. Obviously, it's his home state, and they were big into Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
My only bad, as much as I also liked what happened after the match with the Guns attacking, was the medical staff just yanking MJF out of the ring by his supposedly damaged leg. It's like, let's get him on the stretcher, just pull him by his leg that's apparently been, either an ACL tear or a dislocated knee or something. Just yank him out by his leg. That's fine. Yeah. It's like, come on, guys. Like, what was your rush? You had loads of time left on this 0 hour thing. Yeah. And even if it went into the beginning, who cares? Like, take your time, sell the moment. MJF's injured. Take it seriously and don't yank him around. But yeah, other than that, it was a great match. It's a bit of a shame to see the Guns just get kind of pushed aside by a non-established team like MJF and Samoa Joe. But I get it. I get what they were doing. Yeah. So it's fine overall. We both went for MJF and Samoa Joe for the win. So we are perfect on the 0 hour and a half with 3.
90 minutes.
It's a great way to start the show. Squash like Robinson's, says Rat Freak Dom in the chat. Hello, Dom. Yes, a bit like Robinson's in that they are concentrated down into a small kind of thing that you can then dilute later to make some more wrestling. That is kind of what a squash match is. No? Yeah? No. Well, I will say that Jazz Sports is not sponsored by Robinson's, but we are sponsored by Go Energy. There you go.
Plug.
I will get it in as much as possible.
Said the actress to the bishop.
Shameless plug. Watch it, Tamsin, and hello to anybody else watching out there in live video land on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. Yeah. Do comment along, or don't. and casually watch. It's up to you.
Enjoy.
And if you're not watching us live, then you can't comment along because
Yeah.
that's how live things work.
Yeah.
On to the main show. 6-man trios, whatever you want to call it. Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland, with Ric Flair, versus the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. I wanted to like this match. I really did. You know, I like all of the players, apart from Nick Wayne. I can take or leave Nick Wayne. And I felt like it was built really well. We're on Sting's, you know, run down to retirement tour, So I really wanted to like this. And it was a fun match, but the only good I've got is fun match, good energy to open the show.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was spectacular or truly fitting of being part of the retirement tour or even the, you know, the opening tour for Adam Copeland. I feel like it could have been better, to be honest. You know, it was refereed by Rick Knox, who does not know what a tag is. Let's be honest about that. And the only other bad I have, Luchasaurus picking up Nick Wayne after failing to catch him when Adam Copeland threw him out of the ring. So he threw him out of the ring, and then Luchasaurus didn't really catch him, and he was like, oh, but the spot calls for me catching him, so I'll pick him back up, and then I'll just stand there. It was just, it was not well executed. It was not good. No, you move on from the spot. If the spot goes wrong, you move on from the spot. It's just basic stuff, and it's being done badly in many cases, and I don't like it. Yeah. What about you? How did you feel?
I'm kind of similar. I wanted to like it. I liked Christian Cage kind of not wanting to confront Adam.
Yes. Being the chicken feed heel, as we call it in family-friendly land.
Yes. I will say Luchasaurus's choke slam to Darby Allin onto the apron looked nasty.
Yeah. I think Luchasaurus has probably got the best choke slam in wrestling right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apart from that, it was a good match, but nothing to shout about.
No, and I was wondering why this was the opening. I felt like this was your usual kind of penultimate match to give a lot of energy into the main event, but it worked where it was. Decent opener. We both went for Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland, which means that we are still both perfect in our predictions, and it takes us to 4 apiece.
4 horsemen.
We'll love to see it. Will that perfect predicting continue into the next match? Spoiler alert. No. Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley for the AEW International Championship.
Yeah.
You can go first on this one.
Moxley bleeding. Why? Oh, why? Oh, why?
It wasn't even a no DQ match.
No.
And I'm not sure he can help it at this point, but maybe he should just wear a hat or something.
Yeah.
Like, wear a helmet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's And also when you see him, his head connects with the exposed turnbuckle. That's concussion right there. And he's just come off the back of a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
He doesn't have a lower gear. He is always in full gear. And I don't think that's a good thing, particularly for Jon Moxley. Not if he wants to have several more years in wrestling, which he does, because he's also kind of joined the training team for AEW, bringing up the young talent. So chill out, bro. Not everything has to be a full-on bleed everywhere.
No,
break open your skull fest. This was a pure kind of wrestling match for the international championship. Just slow your roll.
Yeah. Apart from that, don't really have much to say. It was a good match, but it was. a match.
I wasn't a fan of this one at all, if I'm honest with you. I mean, coming off the back of their last match, which was really good,
Yeah.
I felt like this one was just trying to rerun the fun and missing on most of the kind of hits that they played last time.
Yeah.
I didn't like the billion orange punches.
No.
I recognise that move has been weakened over the last few months and that it's not really supposed to be a finisher anymore. But the idea that it took so many of them to put Jon Moxley down, it just didn't do it for me. And in the beginning of the match, and in fact for the most of the match, Orange Cassidy was just made to look like a weak little jobber.
Yeah.
Like he was just beaten down. He didn't look like a champion. And it wasn't even... thrown around and ragdolled in the way that he is normally, like, nonchalant, can't be bothered, Orange Cassidy 101. It was he was just smashed around and made to look like Jon Moxley's bitch, really, if we're being honest about it. Yeah, I did not like this match at all. I think it's probably the worst match on the card. Disappointing, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Even more disappointing, we both got it wrong. But at least we both got it wrong, and that one of us didn't benefit from this mess. We both went for Jon Moxley to win, and Orange Cassidy retained, so we'll stay on 4.
Yeah.
Next, Hikaru Shida versus Timeless Tony Storm with Luther for the AEW Women's World Championship.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot to say about this one, if I'm honest. It was fine.
It was fine.
It was not the best match by any means. It was a bit meh. The main good point is probably the same good point that everybody else had, which is the tray in the rear to pick up the win for Tony Storm. Yeah. I am digging this Tony Storm character.
Yeah,
since leaving the Outcasts. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I especially like, and I don't know if you've seen it, depends where you watch it, but when they do picture in picture sometimes for AEW Dynamite, they do one of her like silent films as the picture alongside the adverts. So there's an advert for some kind of drug or food or whatever going on in the American style. It's just Tony Storm like trotting up to the screen and going and just giving it face and being really weird, and it's just entertaining to me in black and white, obviously, because she's pretending to be a 1930s starlet or whatever. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun, and I like the character. I like that Tony Storm has won back the belt. As much as it's been a bit of a switcheroo between Shida and Storm, I just think they want to stack up the number of title reigns that people have had. How many times has Tony Storm had it now? Is this her third?
Yeah, it's a third.
And Hikaru Shida was on her third, so that's decent. My only thing is, like, where's Britt Baker's love? Britt Baker needs a few more title reigns, I think.
Yeah.
Don't know where she is at the moment. Don't know what her deal is.
I don't know either.
I assume she's not injured because that was not mentioned that she could be.
I would say caring for Adam Cole, but he's at the show, so
yeah. So if she is caring for him, she's not doing a very good job of that either.
Not at
all. Anything more to add from you on this match? We both went for Hikaru Shida, so wrong again. We'll stay on 4. Next up, Ricky Starks and Big Bill versus La Faction Ingobernable versus FTR versus the Kings of the Black Throne for the AEW World Tag Team Championship in a ladder match. Over to you.
Just the name Big Bill.
It's Bog Bill. Haven't you seen his t-shirt?
Yeah, Bog Bill.
Bog Bill.
For me, at the start, everything just happened. It was just a cluster word. Just everything was happening, and all the cameras were just all over the place. So I was a bit like, whoa. Can't concentrate on one thing.
Yeah.
Eventually, they managed to sort themselves out. So a few things. There was Brody King and Bog Bill doing the ladder sandwiches, just squishing people. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Malachi Black slingshotting the ladder off the rope into Cash. I really liked that. I thought, quite different, that actually. The pile drive onto the ladder, which is propped up in the corner.
Dirty, yeah.
It was dirty. The Brody King and Dralistico through the ladder.
The Ganzo bomb, yeah.
Yeah, that looked nasty.
It did. It didn't look well executed from a looking after the talent point of view, but it looked good from a visual television entertainment point of view. Yeah.
Apart from that, it was all right.
Yeah.
It was a ladder match.
I have got everything that you've got in terms of goods. I also liked, I know I said that Luchasaurus has got the best chokeslam, but I particularly liked Big Bill's chokeslam to Dralistico.
Bog Bill,
sorry, yeah, I'll get it right. I particularly liked that and thought it was decent. A couple of bads. There was a lot of laying around / leaning on the apron, waiting. Like, just do something outside the ring. Like, just lying around is not good kayfabe. And a bit of a confusing one. Cash Wheeler low blowing Malachi Black. Like, you're a babyface, dude. I don't.
Yeah.
And it didn't really make sense. It's like you weren't doing it because you'd had enough. You hadn't been oppressed for ages, and you were getting one back over on him. No, you just did it, and it didn't make sense from a story point of view. But yeah, other than that, decent. Lots of flying around, lots of action. Yeah. Probably the best ladder match that AEW has had in their history, I would suggest. Certainly a tag team one, anyway. And it's the first time, Dan, that we differed in our predictions. You went for Ricky Starks and Bog Bill, so you will pick yourself up a point for this one.
Just 5 points.
I went slightly ambitiously and hopefully for the Kings of the Black Throne. I was like, I thought it was going to be their time. I thought the whole night was going to be, a Kings of the Black Throne coming out party. Or whatever the main stable's called. What's that called? House of Black.
House of Black.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be their triumph this pay-per-view, and it kind of was, but not in this match. So screw me, right? I'll stay on 4. You will have just 5 points.
5 points.
And we'll move on to the next match, which also featured a member of the House of Black.
Yeah.
Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart versus Sky Blue for the TBS Championship. A triple threat match. And of course, as is tradition, it falls upon me to discuss the triple threat match first, doesn't it? Yeah.
Go.
I don't have any bads or uglies.
Jesus Christ.
Did I enjoy it as much as if it was just one-on-one? No. But I do think it was decent enough. 3 of, I would say, the best women in AEW right now.
Yeah.
Especially, if you caveat that of young talent, kind of new talent. Like, I love everything that Julia Hart is doing at the moment.
Yeah.
I've kind of like this descent into, badness for Sky Blue. Chris Statlander's obviously great and does a lot for many things, including the deaf community and all that kind of thing. And she's great in the ring. So goods, specifically, Julia Hart hanging upside down from the top turnbuckle and just staring at people instead of participating in the match. I enjoyed that. And the deadlift German suplexes from Chris Statlander. I'm like, you've got some strength, girl. You go ahead and throw those girls around.
Yeah.
Fair play to you. Not the greatest match, but not bad either. So decent enough.
Yeah, summed it up lovely.
All right, then. This is another match in which we differed in our predictions. You went for Chris Statlander.
Yeah.
So, womp womp, you will stay on just 5 points. And I went for Julia Hart. So, I will come and join you on just 5 points. Yeah.
Was it they say in the intro on their thing? Is it now
so
you die?
What? We gonna change everything.
What's the bit they say? Now you die.
Already die. Just 5 guys. It's perhaps the greatest and worst English of all time. You already die.
English.
Die. Duh. But it's fine. You guys are cool. We love you.
Yeah.
Next up, before we get into the next match, just a little side conversation. Will Ospreay is All Elite-ish in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Once he's finished out his contract with New Japan. What do you think about this? Do you think that this was the right decision? We touched on it a little bit a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I think, yes, it is. Because I feel like if he in AEW, he will have a bit more freedom. Whereas in WWE, he won't be able to express himself as much as he does.
Yep.
Like, he won't be able to swear and all that.
They probably won't let him say bruv, and he really loves saying bruv. As much as I hate it. But
I know, but it suits his character.
It's more Zack Sabre Jr., but sure, yeah.
Yeah, but he's from Essex, so...
This is true, yeah.
But no, I'm down for it. I just hope to God that they put him in good matches and don't kind of like let him fade away a little bit. You know, kind of becomes a backseat sort of guy. I hope he does get some like incredible matches. Just incredible matches, not even like incredible title matches, just incredible matches. I want him to have incredible title reigns and all that as well. You know, get him to the world championship picture. You know, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great.
I do think it's the best decision for him in terms of AEW or WWE.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think, and I said this at the time that it was speculation, I don't think he should go to WWE because he just becomes another guy in a roster of lots of very decent people already. Yeah. And he certainly wouldn't have been given a quick push. He would have had to work for a very long time to prove himself and come up through the ranks. They probably would have even put him on NXT just for the lols.
Yeah.
You know, AEW, I suppose, fine. You know, he's going to get paid. It sounds like they're going to let him spend a decent amount of time back here in England, and so he'll probably be on a kind of stints package in the same way that Pac is. Do a 4-month stint and then have a few months off and go back out there again afterwards, that kind of thing. But I mean, there are a few examples of people of his ilk that have come from Japan, and we've seen what's happened with them. The closest example is probably Jay White. Yeah. And we're like, if he had the same path as Jay White, meh. Yeah. I feel like they could have done more with Jay White. The fact that it took so long for Jay White to get his first title match was a bit suspect. But yeah, he will be the centerpiece of All In next summer. Yeah. And that could be where he wins the world title. Probably.
Would you be opposed to him dethroning MJF?
I wouldn't. No. I think MJF needs to be dethroned. I think it's time. I wouldn't necessarily even be opposed to Will Ospreay coming in and doing it on night one. I don't think he will. I think I think Tony Khan has looked at the history of wrestling, especially the history of like other companies that take on stars from elsewhere, and it's mostly been people coming from WWE, and places like TNA, Impact Wrestling, who have pushed outside stars too quickly, put the title on them too quickly, and then there's nowhere to go with the story. I think he's reluctant to do that, and that's why we've seen the likes of all of that massive influx of guys from WWE that were released after the pandemic. None of them have seen championship gold really, like Adam Cole and etc. So I don't know if he will put the belt on Will Ospreay quickly, but Will Ospreay isn't coming from WWE, he's coming from New Japan. And there is clearly going to be a good relationship still going forward between Will Ospreay and New Japan, and he'll probably do the big shows. They'll probably have a match at Wrestle Kingdom every year for the foreseeable. So who knows? Will Ospreay could be different. He clearly thinks a lot of Will Ospreay. You only had to watch the press conferences after Forbidden Door and All In to know that he is really into Will Ospreay and is probably laughing all the way to the bank that he has managed to get Will Ospreay onto his roster when Will Ospreay said that he would not, come to America. So fair play. Yeah, we'll wait and see. But please, Will, stop saying bruv. It does my head in.
All right, bruv.
It honestly does my head in. Next match. Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana in a Texas death match. And it somehow always falls to you to discuss the hardcore matches, and you like
baby.
those. I feel like I get screwed over by triple threats, and you get the nice matches that you like.
Baby.
We'll address this. Go on.
I enjoyed this match. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was intense. I liked how Paige just went, "Nah, I'm not waiting for my entrance. Screw it, I'm coming in now."
I don't think he's had an entrance in months. I feel like I haven't heard his music in ages. Just gets into it.
Yeah. Taping up the hands and stapling his chest. My girlfriend was watching that and she was like, "Are they real staples?" I was like, "Yeah, you can see them." She was like, "Oh yeah, oh my god." All this. One thing that was a bit sicky was Paige drinking Swerve's blood.
Yeah, this has been the topic of conversation around the internet, even to now. We're recording on Friday and people are still talking about this. People have mixed opinions. I am not a fan of it either. I think, no, there are some lines you do not cross.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you should be drinking anybody else's blood, especially on television. Nope.
Apparently, it was planned as well.
What, and approved?
Yes.
Blech. Even worse.
I know. Moving on. Paige going headfirst into a barbed wire chair in the corner. Great. Death Valley driver onto the cinder block.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Pile driver onto barricade. Tombstone on barbed wire covered chair. Powerbomb. This is a long list. Powerbomb, then double stomp onto the chair of barbed wire. Broken glass. Get that in there. Fall away slam from top rope, then into powerbomb, then deadeye, all onto barbed wire board. Buckshot with barbed wire around Swerve's face. Get it in there. I did like Brian Cage coming out and helping. Deadeye to Nada through the table.
To Nana, yeah.
Nana, that one. Through the table. I liked how the cinder block exploded on Paige's back when Swerve smacked him with it.
It did a good job, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I know it kind of showed it's not a real cinder block, but I thought it looked cool. And then we have Paige getting hung up with the chain.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want a Texas death match and you want to go all out, these guys went all out. Well,
yes, but here's the thing. That wasn't a Texas death match. That was a last man standing match or something. Because a Texas death match is you pin them and then it's a 10 count. So I know that they think it was a Texas death match, but it wasn't. So just to make that clear, it wasn't. Good.
It was a Texas match.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So that's in my bad column. The other thing in my bad column is the blood would have meant more in this match if we didn't see blood in the Mox match earlier. Yeah. I feel like there needs to be more continuity across a show in terms of which is the hardcore match that we're supposed to be disgusted by. And then maybe you wouldn't have to one-up yourself by drinking somebody's blood and other disgusting things such as that. But yeah. I have mainly described this match as awful, but awesome. I hated and loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not wrestling. This is hardcore garbage, but I did enjoy it. So, what are you going to do? It was what it was. It didn't pretend to be, a wrestling match. It was always going to be this kind of thing. So, fair play. They did their job.
Yeah.
We have gone back to agreeing again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have agreed badly. We both went for Hangman Adam Page for the win, and that didn't happen. Swerve Strickland picked up the win, so we will each stay on just 5 points. Moving to the business end of this event now. The Golden Jets, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. Before this match happened, earlier in the week, there was a little back and forth on Instagram between one of the Jacksons and some random person on the internet. Did you see it?
No.
So basically, when one of the Jacksons posted about this match, hyping it, somebody commented, why are we having this match at Full Gear? Like, what's the point of this match? And then the Young Bucks replied, it was either this or not on the card. And I'm like, don't be on the card then.
Yeah.
You know, you've kind of just proved that guy's point. He didn't want to see the match, ergo, he didn't really care if he saw you. No. And so saying it was either that or we weren't on the card, bro, what are you going to do? I'm like, yeah, maybe don't have yourself booked in pointless matches when it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Like, you were the number one contenders for the tag titles, and then 3 other teams had their shot before you on this same event.
Yeah.
Why weren't you just in the ladder match? If it was just about getting you on the card.
Yeah.
Like,
just join the ladder match.
Omega and Jericho are supposed to be in another feud with everyone else.
Yeah.
And that was pushed to the side so that you could have your match that no one cared about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, stop trying to make fetch happen, Young Bucks. Just stop it.
Yeah.
One ugly from this match.
Yeah.
Everyone getting cut up by the remains of the Texas death match that wasn't a Texas death match. There was clearly some glass still stuck in that ring mat that was getting people or something. The goods. It is my turn, isn't it? I haven't just jumped in.
Yes, it is your turn.
That's all right then. Omega pretending to turn on Chris Jericho. Yeah. But then turning around and V-triggering Nick Jackson. Yeah. That was good. Other than that, it was a match that happened, and it shouldn't have been on the card.
Yeah. I was not really there for it. I mean, after the Texas death match, it's a bit of a come down.
Yeah, really, the main event should have been next, and keep up that kind of high. But then MJF and Jay White would have been cut up, so at least it happened to the Young Bucks instead. Like,
we don't care about the Young Bucks.
We don't care about them. Predictions. We differed once again, and you went for the Young Bucks, so you can languish there on 5, and I will finally make my way to the Motor City. Very pertinent for Thanksgiving week, as Detroit host a Thanksgiving game every year and lose a Thanksgiving game every year. They're not very good. Their team is even good this year, and they still lost on Thanksgiving. It's like they just can't. They just can't get away from it.
Oh dear.
Main event: MJF versus Jay White for the AEW World Championship.
Well, it was MJF. Then it was Adam Cole versus Jay White. Then it was MJF again.
Yeah. Well, that's our first discussion, really. What did you think about the idea that after the 0 hour and a half, we were going to get Adam Cole versus Jay White for the AEW World Championship, even though Adam Cole is legitimately injured and probably should not have been anywhere near a ring, even if they were going to fake us out like they did.
Yeah. I was like, okay, one of two things is going to happen. The leg injury was work. It was, clearly. And MJF is going to come back halfway through.
Yeah.
Or this is legitimate and Jay White is going to win because Adam Cole has got a broken foot. So he can't do it. So I was like, all right.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. I didn't think for a second that we were actually going to get Adam Cole versus Jay White because, I mean, that is a legitimate injury that Adam Cole has. And he can barely stand up in the ring, let alone do anything else. It was quite comical trying to watch him actually stand up after rolling into the ring because I've been there. I've been in one of those walking boots and basic functions are pretty difficult. So I think you put him in a position he should not have been in frankly, AEW,
Yeah.
and shame on you.
Yeah.
But at least they didn't go through with the nonsense of actually having him wrestle the match.
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah.
as did swathes of people on the internet, mostly on Twitter, that this was going to be a finger poke of doom situation, and that Adam Cole was going to turn on MJF,
Yeah.
and it was just going to be Jay White quickly pins Adam Cole because Adam Cole has lied down and basically given Jay White the title.
Yeah.
But this way was better,
Yeah.
just MJF coming back in an ambulance and
Yeah.
having
I like the
stolen
fact
it.
that he was driving the ambulance.
Yeah. He struggled to wrestle, but his foot was fine on the accelerator pedal. Clearly, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing you can't really do with a dodgy leg. Is drive. Trust me.
Drive.
I
Yeah.
tried that too. As soon as this match kicked off, I wrote in my bads, "Can we not get actual champions defending their belts?" So that's still there, but
I've got a bit of a bad was when the announce desk just kind of collapsed.
yeah. The announce desk didn't play ball. I hope it doesn't get a raise this year. That was poor show announce table.
Also, I like MJF still committing to it and just going, screw it, I'll just do an elbow drop from the top rope onto him on the floor anyway.
Yeah, it probably hurt like hell.
Did you know that he actually dislocated his hip while doing that? It had to be popped back in after the show.
Right. So not good then. Dumb.
No.
Yeah.
Dumb. Yes. Looks good, but dumb.
But I've said it already on this show. If the spot goes wrong, ditch it and move on. There's always something else you can do. Don't try and go through with it even though it's gone wrong.
Yeah. I did like how White did just go for the leg effectively, just like, well, there's a soft spot.
It's a target. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how he did it. He kind of tied MJF's leg up in the turnbuckle. Sometimes when you put a wrestler on the top rope and you just pull them back, their leg somehow miraculously gets tied up in the turnbuckle. But this guy is like, no, I've actually got to tie your leg up. So I quite liked that, There's a few good. There's the Avalanche Uranagi, as they called it. MJF leaping over the top rope and delivering a cutter to Jay White.
Yeah, that's in my list.
That was lovely.
Mm-hmm.
MJF deciding to not do a suicide dive through the ropes. It was just over the top rope while delivering a cutter. White using the tag belts and then the diamond ring. All good.
The shenanigans. You approved of the shenanigans. Yeah. The only thing I have to add to that is obviously kangaroo kick.
Kangaroo kick. Oh yeah, my girlfriend loves the kangaroo kick.
I love the kangaroo kick. Yeah. So the best of us love the kangaroo kick is clearly what's going on here.
Yes.
And yes, indeed, Tamsin. Hashtag dump it. Famous for saying hashtag dump him when discussing bad relationships on Don't Get Me Started. We've adapted it here to hashtag dump it for bad segments that should just be left behind. I love it. Yes. Yeah. No, it was an okay match. I think they tried too hard to make it something when they could have just had MJF and Jay White just have a great match instead of adding a bunch of gimmick to it.
Yeah.
So I'm slightly disappointed by that. I didn't think that Jay White was going to win for a second, but obviously I'm a big Jay White fan and I would have been totally fine with it.
Yeah.
And so for it just to be gimmicked out of him, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
No, nothing special, nothing doing really. But so on that note, we both went for MJF.
Surprise.
As much as I wanted Jay White to throw in him, and I do think that MJF needs to be removed from that belt for a bit so that we can have some just fun shenanigans with him without the title, and that can go off and do other things. We will end this show with a score of me on 7, and you will go to the Motor City finally.
Motor City.
Which means that our score to date, now with one show to go, this Saturday's Survivor Series War Games.
War Games.
I am on 106. You are on 109. The difference is 3, and considering we tend to predict identically for WWE events because they are slightly predictable, I think you have probably retained the championship.
Don't speak too soon.
I will speak too soon because I like to jinx it. I like to jinx it, jinx it. I like to jinx it, jinx it. I like to jinx it. Anyway.
I don't know what you're singing.
It wasn't really singing. It was more like an off rap.
Okay. Whatever.
Let's give this show a rating. Today, Dan, on this fine yet really bloody cold Friday night, I would ask you to give AEW Full Gear 2023 a rating out of 5 limping main event dudes.
Oh, okay. I did rather enjoy it. There were a few meh parts, but I think it was better than just straight down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 11 matches was much better, so they're on the right track. I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should encourage the 11 matches instead of 14. Yeah. That's definitely to be encouraged. Yeah. Now we just need to bring down the 0 hour back to an hour instead of an hour and a half, and the press conference down to an hour instead of all day. And then our timings will be a lot better. I think that overall it was decent. There were lots of good matches, lots of good moments, but there were also some nonsense things going on, and executive producers of the company forcing themselves onto the card when they didn't need to. I'm going to be slightly more generous than 3. I'm going to say 3.25.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a blockbuster, but not a pile of chicken seed either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is our show. As I mentioned, next up is Survivor Series War Games. So we'll see you next week for that one. And another reminder that this episode of the Main Event Podcast, as will all of them going forward, was sponsored by Goat Drinks. Get yourself their all-natural energy drink in mango or cherry. I've got the cherry around here somewhere. It is cool, isn't it? Yeah. This is the Horny Goat. So not only are they goat energy, but they individually name their horny goats. This is called Horny Goat, and the other one, the cherry one, is called Funky Goat. And there's some goats. Thanks, Tamsin.
Oh, goats.
Yeah, some goats. Good job. Yeah. You can get your own case, goatdrinks.co.uk, Jez10 at checkout, free shipping and 10% off. Get the cherry. It's sexy. And until next time, I've been Jez.
I've been Dan.
This has been the Main Event Podcast. Bye.